that value establishes for a long time. It creates a big area where we've got to operate inside of, isn't it? So we want to make sure that the blue line is reverse. It has reversed, and it's reversed strongly. But we've still got a relatively big area in here to operate inside, haven't we? We've got pretty much this area here to work with. Now that's okay, we can do that, absolutely we can do that, and we do it, but it gives us a starting point. Inside that starting point, I've now got the opportunity to try and find the Grail trade, which is the red line narrative. So when I add in the Grail trade aspect to this, I can now start picking off the big value divergence when the red diverges from the purple. And you can see the red and the purple are joined at the hip most of the time. So the big divergence is when the red diverges from the purple and the purple's already diverged from the blue and the blue is already moving. The more the blue moves, the more I like the trade. So we're actually now looking for that Grail-esque narrative. Red down, purple up. Let's get that sell trade on oil. Now when we zoom into the charts, every candle, if you're a one-tick scalper, if you're trying to play a game of scalping, we can play scalping, can't we? We can actually play the game of the floor trader scalpers. Can everybody see where the floor trader scalper is? Well, I can already recognize that there's a floor trader scalper right there for a buy. Everybody can see it. There it is right there. That's a buy trade. You can see this looks the same, 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 this looks the same. There's a floor trader buyer as well. So there's a floor trader buyer right there. So I'm going to buy that trade, and I'm going to buy that trade for a scalp. 2 scalp trades, 2 buys, and now I move to my transition trade. I go to my oil and I try and find the transition from a seller getting jammed into a buyer on the book, and I lean against it for a scalp buy. What happened to those 2 buys? Well, if we look at oil and those 2 buys, you can see that the buy that came in here went up beautifully. It didn't go up just a small amount, by the way, guys. If I bid 98.30s, it traded a high print of 98.70s. That's a $400 profit in 4 minutes. Right there, $400 profit in 4 minutes. If I bought in here, I got put under a little bit of pressure on the next candle. That's okay. I like that because obviously I'm waiting for the transition. I'm not just buying it at the end of the candle. I'm waiting for the transition. And what happened to the buy trade? Well, we went from 80s to a high price of 10s up to a high price eventually of 30s. $500 profit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. $500, guys. 5 minutes for $500 on the trade. Looking for the transition between these 2 candles. Looking for that transition and executing on the right-hand edge of the charts. You just go through that process. No transition here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, nothing here. Nothing on the right-hand edge, no trades, nothing to do. We're setting up value, but we don't have the Grail trade. What is the trade going to be? Well, we can already tell that the trade is going to be a sell trade. Can't ever be a buy trade now. So it's going to be a sell trade on oil. It's going to be the next trade opportunity. And obviously what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the red line to go down and the purple line to go up. And that's going to give me, and if the blue line's going up at the time, that's what I'm looking for. Anything else? Nothing much for me. As the blue line starts to drop, the red line will start slowing down, and it'll probably start overtaking the purple line, and I'll be looking for a buy trade in oil at that stage. As a scalper, as a floor trade scalper, I'll be looking to bid. I'm going to be shouting a lot of buy orders into the trade. I'm going to be looking for that transition phase, and I'm going to get ready to take the reversal opportunity. This is what we do. And this is the point, isn't it? This is what we do. This is the storyline we try and build around these areas. We try and recognize how this is evolving. If I'm looking at this, I only want to be selling. I only want to be selling. There's no chance of me becoming a buyer at any stage of oil at this point. So I'm watching to see if a buyer gets jammed. I'm watching to see if I get a transition on the order book. And I can start hunting for that transition at the moment, can't I? I can start hunting for that transition. I'm not in the trade. I'm not looking for the trade. I'm waiting for a trade to set up. I'm waiting for a transition. I'm waiting for the order flow to start giving me a little quick scalp trade. And remember, when you do these exercises, Try and think about it from the perspective of a 1 tick, 2 tick scalper. You're only trying to make 1 or 2 ticks. Why? Well, think about it on oil. 3 ticks. It's enough to get a stop at break even, isn't it? 5 ticks, enough to get a 10 tick stop at break, a $10 stop at break even in that trade. Enough to get a $10 stop at break even. And you just do it. That's all you do. You're not trying to do this for a living, but you might if you get good at it. If you start finding that when you're doing these scalp trades, not only do you get great prices, but you're only going in for 1 or 2 ticks, trying to get 3 ticks out of a trade, but some of them turn into swing trade opportunities. Some of them turn into swings, and you can start to take advantage of a swing narrative. Now, I've just taken a short oil. I'll show you what I did. Now, obviously, at the time when I took the trade, the book had actually gone bearish. At the time I took the trade, the book had gone bearish, and I jumped in. Now, I've been scratched out, and that's okay. It didn't really set up perfectly, but I wanted to just show you what I did to show you how possible it is to become a scalper that makes some quick cash. So there's the trade I just took right there. You can see it. I fired in a quick contract. Now, what had happened was that the blue candle, the book in the background, it was away up here at the top of this. And then it started to drop off the top as the price held at the top edge. So I sold it immediately as soon as I saw the book dropping. It's not a red candle, but it was developing into a possibility of becoming a red candle, and I was still at the top edge. So I fired in a quick scalp trade. I was able to make a quick profit. I was able to get a stop at break even. Fair enough, on this occasion, the book never changed into a sell, and therefore the price just got stopped out at break even. Now, obviously, that's okay, because what happens is, at least you're in the right side of the trade. At least you know what you're trying to do. I only want to be selling oil, so I look for that oil opportunity. I don't have to wait for a line to be in my favor. I don't have to wait for that. If I'm good enough, I can start working those orders, can I? I can start watching for the buyers getting jammed on the deltas. I can start looking for that transition, and then when I see the transition, I can strike into a lean. And look at what happened. Oil's just dropped off. So you can see that when the lean came in, the oil started to lean. The lean actually came on this spike candle here. So the price spiked up, got a lean at a price of 98.60s. So the lean came in there. There's your opportunity to get short the market. The transition was in place. There's your sell, and that's your outcome. The trade comes off that 98.58s. It drops down to 98 evens. You just make $600 in 60 seconds. And change, of course. $600 in 60 seconds. So in other words, in a live classroom, whilst talking about it, whilst teaching it, whilst doing it, I was able to tell you that oil was only going to be a sell. I was able to tell you oil was only going to be a sell. I've already been able to put one trade on, Ninja Trader especially, to show you what we were looking to do. Then the real trade kicks off, which gave us the perfect lean, which was the Baltic, and it's just gone for a profit of nearly $1,000 in 3 minutes. Really think trading's hard? It's hard only if you make it hard in your mind. If you only make it that difficulty in your own mind, that's when it gets hard. But you know, in general terms, it's really actually quite straightforward. You just got to keep doing the business. You've got to keep playing away at these strategies. So that little 3-tick scalp, and that you start out thinking about it as a 3-tick scalp, just made $900, 90 ticks. So you entered it as a scalper. You entered it as a scalper to try and grab a quick profit. But because you're able to get your scalp, and because you're able to get your stops to break even, suddenly you end up with a $900 profit on the break. Because you're in the right trade at the right price, doing the right things. You've never taken any more than maybe a 3-tick stop. So you can run good size account, you can run a good size trade against an average size account, and if you're getting good at it, you can become that trader. You can become Charlie D in that environment, can't you? Those transitions become sensational. Gold sell transition was nice. We've got a nice little reversal off 20.5. So well done anybody that sold off the 20.5. It's just traded 15.5 on the transition. Does anybody see the gold transition, guys? Yes or no? Anybody see it? There it is there. The book's been very bearish. There was a transition just there as well. So if you were taking it back to this point, there was a transition there, but that one got stopped out at break even. As you were able to take a scalp trade against that transition there. Very nice. There was a transition in here. Some leans at lower prices and another profitable trade and another scratch there. And then there's a transition candle right there. See the transition candle? There's a transition candle right there. What happened? Straight after that transition candle, the price got absolutely busted. We've got this very, very nice run right off of that price level. Sell side on a macro scale basis. See how the book's bearish right through that phase? This is the inside market. Perfect top line sell. Perfect top line sell right across that level. And you just got to keep working the narratives. And the takeaway from that, glorious. Absolutely glorious. Now, what we were talking